This is Walt Disney. I would like to welcome all of you to the Park Streamers Hangout tonight. Bob, Danny, and Cordy are dear friends, and I know they have an amazing podcast for you. So thanks for joining us tonight, and enjoy the show.
Well, hello, kids, dreamers, and jammers. Got it right that time. I had to look at it. Welcome to another episode of Park Streamers Hangout. We have a great show for you today. We have a special guest that I think a lot of you already got a hint of, so we will get into it. But first, let's go ahead and we'll go around the horn and Barry Plays 28. Let us know where everybody can find you and what are you up to? When are you streaming again?
Hey everyone, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook at Barry Plays 28. And I was supposed to go to the parks this week on Wednesday or Thursday, but I had all these reservations booked up because I had to renew my pass, and I've already booked them, and I'm waiting for a reservation to open up. So if something opens up, I'm hoping to be there on Thursday. So.
Very good. All right. And Theme Park Casual.
Well, hey,
where
kids.
can we find you, and when are you streaming next?
You can find me on YouTube, X, and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual. I will be live at Disneyland this Wednesday evening. And then I may do a quick little Instagram live on Saturday night. We will be at Riley's Farm for Christmas in the Colonies, and I want to try to give just a quick little tour. It's one of our family's favorite traditions. We've been doing it for about 8 or 9 years now, of going up to Oak Glen for a special dinner at Riley's Farm, and I want to give you guys a quick tour, a quick little synopsis of what goes on that night. So hopefully I'll be able to have some of you guys tune in for that, but you'll need to follow me on Instagram because I'll be doing it on Instagram, not on YouTube.
Very cool. I'm curious to see that because I haven't been there, so I look forward to checking that out. And hello, Cordy and California. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and I just what is it even called? Blue Sky. I just signed up for that, so I'm checking that one out. I think Wednesday I will be back in the parks to stream. So far, that's the plan. All right, so just want to welcome everybody in. We've got, thank you all for joining us. You guys were in here early, so thank you guys. We got Doom Boogie, hello. Mike B, how are you doing? Tom F, Paul Newitt.
We got Mike, we got Adventures with Brodo Kamish, EXP626, Most Wanted, Jennifer Bosselier, Wendy, David Diaz, Melissa Hash, Aubrey Harris, Brian Sevilla just popped in. Welcome in, everyone.
Perfect.
Most Wanted. Anyone else? Oh, Brian Sevilla. Oh, did you say that?
Yeah, I just said that.
Hey, Brian.
Slim Devin slides
Slim
in.
Devin,
second here.
I know. I love that.
We got George and Lynn. Chestnuts roasting by the Geo fire.
You got to sing it though.
Chestnuts roasting by the Geo fire.
I'm not going to sing when we've got a guest like we have tonight, so
no kidding.
I'll just spare everybody that one.
Wow, you do carry.
I need the rumbling of Autopia cars.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, you don't have the fumes coming off, so you can't do it. I get it.
No. Oh, there's a good idea. You can have that in the background.
And then just record it.
Yeah, and then you can just sing for us.
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
It's funny. Ariel and I were just on the Autopia the other night, and I was singing, and she's like, "Oh, don't do that. You're embarrassing me." I'm like, "Okay, well, sorry."
Sorry, that's exactly it. You got to take it. It's a give and take with kids.
Yep.
All right, so everybody, without further ado, we would like to introduce our special guest tonight, Cassie B.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks
So-
for having me.
Cassie B is a friend. She's an artist, but she's a friend of Game Life. So that's, kind of how the magic happened here. So thank you, Game Life, if you're out there.
Yeah, girl.
We're so happy to have you, Cassie B. And we caught some of your performance through Game Life's live stream when she was out there, and you were on that. I call it the main stage because it is. You're like right out there, right where the water's behind you, where World of Color is, on after you. So it's pretty awesome. But go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Cassie B. I'm an artist and singer from San Diego. And I've wanted to perform at Disneyland for like my whole life. I auditioned tons of times when I was younger, never quite made the cut. So I've been really excited that like we finally got into the park with my own band. So that's been a pretty cool thing. But we've been a cover band for about 10 years. We're going on 10 years next year. And my husband and I, we run the band. He's my bass player. And we have original music, and we have a Taylor Swift tribute show. We've had like a Star Wars kind of tribute show before. And we're just always looking for new things to kind of just up our game and like keep progressing and challenging ourselves in showmanship. So yeah, Disney is like a huge step for us, and we've been so excited to be there.
That's wonderful.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I know, so some more people are coming in here. Did we get Aubrey Harris? Welcome.
We did.
And but we had a few questions. We had a few questions ready for you just to kind of get things started. And for our viewers out there, we are going to open it up. If you guys have any questions, to start thinking if you have anything maybe different from what we have, because you guys are smart, so you'll think of things that we did. So I know I can go ahead and read them off, but I know we kind of compiled some questions in here. But so how difficult was the auditioning process to be hired at the parks?
We actually did it years ago, and we performed in downtown Disney before the pandemic. And actually, it's pretty crazy. Like our last show was, I think, downtown Disney, like the week of the shutdowns. Like that, I think we did that Monday, and then that Thursday or something, it shut down. It was crazy.
Wow.
But it was like pretty much any other audition process. We prepared our own kind of set that we wanted to show them, and just kind of submitted our stuff, and then we went in for a live audition and performed for them, and just kind of waited for the news after that to see if we would be accepted for downtown Disney. So, and ever since, we've just kind of kept that connection with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask next, is having, performed at downtown Disney, and you've kind of built that rapport. Did that help? Like, was that, did it make the process for doing Festival of the Holidays easier? Or
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they've seen us, so they kind of knew what we provided, and that what our show is kind of like, because our show is very, like, it's not super niche as far as our top 40s tribute stuff. So like we do a little bit of everything. So we'll have like 90s hip hop to like Dua Lipa now, and I don't like Stand By Me, like classics, and then also like new stuff. So I think it just they knew what we appeal to is like kind of every age range and genre. So I think that helped for sure, that they've seen us, kind of paid our dues.
Right. Yeah. Imagine so. So just out of my own curiosity, because now that we're talking about downtown Disney, have you seen the new stage and the area? What do you think of?
I think it's great. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, I love it, because before it was such like a traffic area as far as like where the stage was, that like it was nice because people would stop, but then they'd go. You know, it was
Right.
like where this is kind of, it's like more focused in on like, hey, if you want to listen to the music and like be a part of it, now you can really like be in like immersed in it, you know? So I think it's beautiful. I've only walked by a couple times, but I was like, dang, this is awesome. Like the stage is nice. And yeah, they've got great production over there. It looks awesome.
Yeah, and I'm happy that they did that because I always enjoyed, you know, but like you said, it was usually like if we were walking out that way, right? Instead of taking the
Right.
tram or something, and then you're like, oh, a band, right? Just so happy.
Yeah.
Full of
Like you
live
can
music.
like actually plan to go do it now in a way,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's going to be even better once they get all the shops and restaurants open over there, because then everybody will be able to have some food and be able to have some tables and listen and not have to, you know, only be standing like you did before.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, it just encourages like to stay a while, you know, which I think is nice.
Yeah.
We perform at Petco Park here in San Diego also. And Gallagher Square was the same way. So last year was our first year and we were on the stage, but it was just like a traffic spot. So you just had to like keep walking. You couldn't stop and watch. So we never felt like anybody enjoyed us, you know?
Right.
Now they've redone it and now it's like, oh, they can hang out, they can actually pay attention. So yeah, I think that's such a huge like upgrade for Disney and the bands, you know, and the audience. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, definitely. So kind of going with, you were talking about the type of music, right, that you perform or that you offer, right, for this type of venue or audience that Disney has. Are there any songs that they said, absolutely no, that one is no? The copyright, I mean, it could be right for many reasons.
I don't think we got any specific song. It was just more of like, it just has to be family friendly. But they didn't give me any specific, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. It was just like, you know, has to be clean language, something that, you know, like nothing offensive, you know, which is like very normal for a corporate kind of band to pay attention to, you know. But no, I don't remember there being anything super specific, like you can't do this song. What I loved was I was nervous that we wouldn't get to do Disney songs. Like I didn't know if there was like a rule against that. And they're like, no, we love when you do Disney songs. So that's fun because
that was going to be my question. Do they require certain, you know, a certain amount of Disney songs? Do they like require a minimum, at least one Disney song per set or anything?
No.
Interesting.
They didn't. Yeah, they just kind of, it's nice. They're like, hey, do what you do. You know what I mean? Like do it like your craft. Like they allow us to kind of be who we are, which is cool. Yeah. But then we're like, well, then we want to do some Disney songs.
So which one's your favorite Disney song to do live?
Well, so we just, for this, we weren't super prepared for Food and Wine Festival to like do a bunch of Disney, but my drummer was like, oh, we got to do You'll Be in My Heart. And so we do Life is a Highway into You'll Be in My Heart. It's like this little mashup that we do. And this is the first time for Festival of Holidays that we're doing it. And I think people cry when we do it because it's just such, like, you don't really hear that song out, you know, especially with a live band. I feel like it's a slower, heartfelt song. Right. So it's just not like obvious, you know, but I love it. And I did that song when I was in show choir in middle school. So I have like all these memories of that song and connection with it. So that's my favorite right now. Life is a Highway is super fun. And then for Festival of Holidays, they did say, you know, if you could do some Christmas songs, that would be great. And so I asked my keyboardist if he's like a genius. His name is Taylor Peckham. He's awesome. And I asked him to make a mashup of, I was like, I want a Disney song and a Christmas song as one. And I was like trying to think, and I was like, Let It Go and Let It Snow. And he created this awesome song. So we recorded it and we're going to be releasing it, I believe, December 6th. So keep an eye out.
Cool.
It's going to be up for listening. So
where is it going to be released? Is it going to be YouTube?
It'll be
Spotify?
YouTube, Spotify. Yeah. Like all the streaming services. Yeah.
Okay.
Very
Just want
cool.
to make sure people can get to it.
Yes. Yeah.
And
we'll
I
keep you
know
guys posted.
one of our moderators might be he did post a link to your Instagram, because I think from there
Oh, amazing.
people can get to your,
Yes. Yeah. You can get like all my info on my
Mhm.
website, all the things. I would appreciate that. Yeah. Cassie B Music. That's me.
And you can see right here, I mean, it shows that she'll be performing December 12th, 15th, and the 23rd at 5:15 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. for the Festival of Holidays at DCA. So that's awesome.
Yeah. It's been so fun. It's cold out there. Dress warm. It's
You guys
cold.
can- And then it looks like you're also playing, Yucaipa Performing Arts on, let's see, December 13th, Moonshine Flats on December 21st. Was it Spokane Tribe Casino?
Yeah. That's
on,
in.
Oh, New Year's, huh? Nice.
Yeah, New Year's Eve. So all
And
the
then,
yellow
yep.
text is our Taylor Swift show.
Okay.
So those are, so the Yucaipa, the Stanford, and the Mayo, those are all our Taylor Swift tribute show called Dream Like Taylor. So we have an Instagram for that too. It's Dream Like Taylor Official.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So for all you Swifties out there.
All you Swift.
I know. I have to tell my daughter. She'll be like, "What?"
Yeah. God, bring her. It's so magical. It's really fun. Jetta loves Taylor Swift.
Oh, there you go. See? And then let's go ahead and see you perform real quick. I know we have your YouTube page, and I'd love to show off what you did recently. Let's see here. Now, this song that we're going to watch, it's called Honey. Is that correct?
That's right. It's my original song.
Oh, original. I love it. And this was performed for the Food and Wine Festival on March 23rd of 2024 this past year.
Oh,
so let's go ahead and, let's check it out.
Take a look.
Turn it up, Bob.
Oh, is it not up all the way? Oh, sorry. Oh, it is down. Sorry.
Oh, there she is.
All right. I guess I had the volume down a little bit on that one. But you have a ton of songs actually on here. So this is your YouTube page, Cassie B. If you guys want to check it out and subscribe to her channel like I have, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But she does have all sorts of really cool videos here that you can check out, music videos. She has some live stuff. Let's see, what else do you have here? And then there's Honey right there. You have some Taylor Swift stuff on here, I think, where you're performing. And you have a bunch of shorts, which is cool. So nice.
Yeah, kind of gives you a little peek into just some of our shows and what we do. And I'm trying to be better. Like, I am totally looking up to all of you guys doing like the live stuff, because I am so not in that headspace, and I want to be. I want to like kind of be in the moment with people and share it, but I'm also like so scatterbrained that I'm like, if I'm focusing on this, I can't do too many things at once. So I'm going to be practicing doing some live things. But yeah, check it out. Check out our stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I know, I think Mike B also posted your YouTube channel in the chat. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
And we do have Gain Life in the chat, so welcome, Gain.
Hey, girl.
We also had Marina join us. Obviously, J Jingles join us. I love these Christmas ones. Oh, we got T3PO.
We've got Peyton Edwards and Cassandra.
Thanks for subscribing.
Nash Sky's in the house. Look at that. Very cool. Thanks, Dre. Yeah, I think that's about it. Cassandra. Yeah, I get you guys. Sorry.
That's my
I'm
full name.
right behind
but
you
I
guys
spell it
tonight.
with a C.
So, I know you said you were excited, right? That it's like was kind of that one of those lifelong dreams, right? Like performing at Disney. So I'm assuming you've always been a big Disney fan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like, I don't know everything about everything at all. I'm not, on that level. But no, I've always loved Disney. It's my favorite. It's just wonderful. And the music is always kind of what brings me in,
Mhm.
definitely for the movies. I think growing up, my favorite one was Little Mermaid. That was just my favorite movie. But yeah, no, I love it. And yeah, going to Disney, when I was in middle school and high school, like I would be in performing groups and we'd get to perform at the park. They do the little like guest spots.
Yeah.
And those were always just like the most fun memories from childhood, just getting to spend the day at Disneyland and getting to perform for everybody there. It just felt so cool. So
Mhm.
now it's with my own band. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. See, dreams come
Yay.
true,
I know.
and it keeps going.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
exactly. Keep them going.
So now you just need to fulfill the dream of being in the Tomorrowland Terrace stage when it's like rising up out of the ground.
Yes,
Mhm.
That's
please.
always been my dream. It's always been like, oh, I'd love to be on that stage
Oh.
coming up and with the music playing and everything. But
Heck yes. Put me anywhere
So-
in there. I'll do it.
Are there any other theme parks you performed at, or is Disney the main one?
Let me think. Well, actually, so here in San Diego, I started my first like performing job was SeaWorld. I performed at SeaWorld for a long time, for probably close to 9 years on and off. So I started out as a dancer there. I was on like a hip hop dance team, and we were in a show called Riptide. And then from there, they found out I could sing. So they were like, you should audition for our Christmas show and audition for this and that. So I would do that. So I worked at SeaWorld for a long time. And then I've worked at the zoo. My band performs at the zoo in the summers on Mondays. And then I was also a performer at Legoland.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah,
There you
just
go.
for a short little season. I felt a little old for that show. So I was like, I think it's time for me to go. But it was great.
That is
Yeah.
very
Yeah, it's
Um,
fun.
so-
I love it.
just kind of outside of, just so we can get to know you a little bit. Do you have any other hobbies, like outside of music, of course, right? Is there
Yeah.
something that you like to do?
Well, I'm a hairstylist.
Okay.
So that's kind of my other career. I've been doing that for over 15 years. And it's allowed me to perform on the weekends. So it's great. I don't take clients on the weekends. I just do clients during the week, and then I perform on the weekends, and it's been a wonderful schedule. But then like for a hobby, I love just like crafting and making stuff with my hands. So a lot of times it pertains to the music, and I make some costumes and I make guitar pick jewelry for my merch. I have to, it's like such a therapeutic, like hands-on thing that I need to have. So crafting is a big hobby of mine. I'm not great at all of them. Like I'm teaching myself, trying to learn how to sew, all the things, but I love it. Yeah,
Very cool.
it's my main hobby.
And I know another question our group had was, what is your inspiration? Like, do you have to make music, right?
Yeah.
Music.
I think like growing up, I didn't really, all I knew was like, I think it's such an inner, like it's something that comes from inside and you get to really let it out. Like it's such an expression when you sing and when you dance. And I didn't know like when I was little that I would like need that for my life. And I got into theater when I was in like 4th grade, and it was just from like friends being like, you guys should try it. And so I did, and I didn't make it in the shows, but I just was like, blown away by it. Like I couldn't stop. Like I had to do it. So there was that. But now that I'm older and we've been doing our band, and it's such a product that like I'm creating and my band is creating rather than me being a part of a show. I think it's just like the interaction with people and the energy exchange when people hear a song that they know from whatever time in their life. It's this nostalgia that kind of takes you back to like that time when you loved or heard that song. And seeing that and like exchanging that with people is huge. Like people kind of, I don't know if like the cover, like being a cover band when you're an artist, it's like, oh, you're just a cover band. But like, I love it. I get so much joy out of that. And out of creating like that atmosphere for people, it's what really keeps me in that scene. And I'm hoping that with my original music, we can have that same kind of exchange eventually. Like people learn the songs and they love it and they want to hear it and they want to sing it. And it can kind of take them to wherever they were when they first heard my song. I'm hoping that one day I can like experience that with my music because it's really awesome. Like something changes when I get on stage. I'm very different on stage than I am in real life. It's a different vibe. There's a lot of me, but yeah, it's just something that kind of takes over. So yeah, that's kind of my main drive.
That makes sense. I don't know if you can see Gain Life's comment there.
The fashionista.
Fashionista.
I like this one though. Commenting to Gain Life. Your buddy seems unstoppable. There you go.
Aw, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's I think cover bands are rad, so I'm not bashing any cover bands at all. I love doing it. It's a great job and career. So yeah.
No, it is fun. Like you said, that's such a great time, right? Everybody comes together and but you still have to put so much into it. You know what I mean? Like
there's a total thought process. Yeah, and just kind of going with the vibes, like even talking about the Life is a Highway song into oh, thank you, Janaea. She's my number one. That's my girl. She's helping me out with everything. And she performs with me too. Check her out. Check her out. She's amazing. She performs at Disney too. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah. Today you distracted me. I got too excited. Yeah.
Well, I'd love to see if our audience has any questions for Cassie, please feel free to put those in the chat.
So Tom F did ask earlier, what's the name of the band? Sorry, I missed
it. It is my name, Cassie B. CASSIE and the letter B. Yeah, check us out on all the socials. It's Cassie B Music. So like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook is all Cassie B Music. If you want to check it out, I think YouTube is just Cassie B. Yeah. Hit me with some questions, party people. What you want to know?
So you mentioned the Star Wars thing. What exactly do you do for the Star Wars show?
So years ago, we got an opportunity. Have you guys heard of WonderCon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my husband knows a guy that was throwing like a big after party for WonderCon at House of Blues Anaheim, and he needed a band. And so he asked my husband, like, hey, would you guys want to do it? You have to like think of a theme and, dress up and do the whole thing. And so we were excited, of course. We're like, yes, we want to do it. Sounds awesome. And we had been trying to figure out like what theme we would go off of. And I was on Pinterest and I saw like this like artsy photo of Chewbacca in like a hipster outfit. He was wearing like a sweater and jeans, like skinny jeans. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's like a millennial. And then I like did in my head like, oh, millennial falcons instead of millennial. And so that's kind of like what sparked the idea. So we dressed as like my husband was stormtrooper, but he had like a cool like white bomber jacket and like and skinny white pants, you know. I was Princess Leia, so I didn't like dye my hair or anything. I just like kind of braided like messy buns on the side and like just went the like millennial vibe on everything with our clothing. And yeah, we just created a show. We did a lot of top 40 stuff, and then we would just like sprinkle in some of the Star Wars songs. We did like Cantina. We did like the Imperial March. I'm trying to think what else. We did like the intro. There's like that like disco version of the intro. So yeah, we did a bunch of that. We don't do it too much anymore. The helmets are really hard for the guys to wear because they get all fogged up and they can't like see their instruments. So it's rare that we like have the right setting. We're like, we can only do short sets and things like that. But it's so fun. It's really fun. You'll if you scroll far enough on my Instagram, you'll see.
Okay.
You'll see footage.
Because when you said it, it made me think of, I don't know if you've ever heard of Halix. They were a band that Disneyland did back in the early 80s. And it was basically playing off the whole Star Wars craze. And they created this rock band, and it was all space themed. And the one guy was dressed like, like full on, Wookiee style, just this gigantic outfit and everything. That's why I was curious what you guys did, because it just reminded me of that. So.
Yeah, you actually will probably have better luck on YouTube if you search like the Millennial Falcons. I think we have our one of our shows on there on YouTube. Yeah, we had C-3PO, Stormtrooper. My keyboardist was Darth Vader. And
is that under videos?
It should be. I wonder where it's at. I wonder if you just go to search. But let's see.
Search. I think it'll search YouTube, not necessarily your channel.
Yeah, maybe just search YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let me go back to. Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
Yeah, try
Well,
it.
I was going to say, while Bob's kind of looking for that, because we'd love to see that if we can.
Yeah.
We do have some questions that came in.
Ooh,
So
okay.
Jingles says, have you seen Taylor in concert?
I have seen her, but it was a long time ago. It was her Red album, and I was in the nosebleeds. She was amazing, though. She was amazing. It was here in San Diego. I went with my cousin and her friends, and that was the album for me that like I hooked on. I was like, this girl, she knows me. We get each other. We understand each other. And yeah, so that was the only time I got to see her. Ed Sheeran opened for her, which was really cool.
Nice.
I haven't gotten to see the Eras tour. I watched the movie, of course, but I'm always working, so it's really there it is. You found it. It's hard to get to the show, but it looks incredible. It looks so cool.
Let's share this real quick.
The three of you.
Yes.
Janaea's in this. You'll see Janaea. Dread Vader. That's silly. You're the guest there. Yeah. Oh yeah, he changed the words to Boba Fett.
Oh, gosh, that's great.
That's fun.
That was so fun. It's so silly.
All right.
Oh, that's fun. I love that.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, we do Benny and the Jets, the song, and he changed the words to Boba Fett. So we just tried to change like any lyrics. Oh, here's a good story. So we did Shook Me All Night Long, the song.
Yep.
And I changed the words. Let's see. She was a fast machine. She gets the money. That side, the sides, telling me no lies, knocking me out with those tattooing thighs. I like changed the words. And then like months later, we were doing a normal show, but like my brain just kept tattooing thighs in. Oh my gosh, the guys were cracking up. I was like, oh no, I'm losing it. Oh, it was so funny, but it was great. It's so much fun. I love
That is
theming
really,
out
really cool.
that. It's just
Yeah.
that's the theater kid in me, you know.
Well, we do have a few other questions here.
Yeah.
So, is the Dream Like Taylor coming back to SoCal in 2025?
I hope so. So our closest one is Ukaipa this year. We really just have. I'm trying to think. So far, I think we just have our January set, and that's more on the East Coast in New Jersey and Connecticut. But if you follow Dream Like Taylor Official on Instagram, you will stay tuned because that is like a growing thing that we're trying. It's brand new. We debuted it this summer, so we're just trying to build that kind of clientele and get it out there. Mm-hmm. She is a very saturated market. There are a lot of Taylor Swift tribute shows now. So yeah, we're just trying to find our place in it. But hopefully, I hope so. Stay tuned.
Do you ever play at the Orange County Fair or maybe down at Del Mar or anything like that? Have you ever
We've
played
done
the
Del Mar.
fairgrounds?
We've done Del Mar a handful of times. Trying to think, but not the OC Fair yet. That one looks amazing. Have you guys been to that one?
Oh
That
yeah,
one looks really
go
good.
every year.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
We should look into that. That would be really cool. I know a lot of people. I see a lot of like the people that I follow on Instagram, other bands that do it.
There's a lot of cover bands that play at the fair. So
yeah. No, that's a great idea. We're definitely open. We want to jump around.
Okay, I don't know where Slim Devin was coming up with this. It says Mary Place 28. I'm seeing some similarities, but we're not related. So, let's see. Oh, we also had how do people book appointments to get their hair done by you? Okay. We're talking about hair now. And what's your favorite song?
The hair. So I do the hair stuff just like personally through text, but I will not be sharing my phone number on the internet. But if you want to hit me up on Instagram, hit me up and we can chat for that. And what's my favorite song? That's a great, impossible question, my friend. My favorite song. Oh gosh, there's so many. Well, I will say that Michael Jackson was kind of like my first like main inspiration for music. And what's the one I'm thinking? The Way You Make Me Feel was always like, it just like made me want to dance. And that was kind of the spark of like, I want to make music that makes you want to dance like this. Like that was my main thing. So I would maybe say that one. But I have so many.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
So this is kind of a similar question. Says, what is your all-time favorite song? But how about we say to perform or instead of not? Because you just told us what one of your favorite songs are. So what's your favorite song to perform?
Well, we close almost every show, almost every time. Sometimes we stray away just because we feel bad for like the people working that they probably hear us do it every time. But What's Up by 4 Non-Blondes is really fun to perform because it gets everyone singing. And yeah, we go off. It's just like, it's so fun. It's fail safe. Like if people were sitting down all night, like our whole show, and then I say for this one, I'm like, we need you on your feet. You got to get in here and you have to sing with us. Like it works. They get up and they can't help but sing that. Yeah, it just feels so good, you know? So yeah, I would say that one's my favorite. Sorry, I'm not sorry. We do it every time. Though we don't do it at Disney. It's a little bit on the like, I don't know. There's some words in there that could not be family friendly. So we don't do that one at Disney. But other than that, we do it pretty much every show. Oh, someone saw Brian saw Four Non Blondes in the 90s. That's pretty cool.
He's our
Lucky
concert
dog.
goer.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'm just taking a quick peek to see.
Oh, of course, Slim Devin comes up with this one. What is your intermission snack?
It's all about the food.
I will tell you, I have one. It is like salt, just potato chips. It keeps the vocals like greased up. The grease helps. And the salty is like my favorite too. So yeah, salty potato chips.
Not what I would have guessed, but okay.
What would you guess? What do you think?
I don't know, something like a churro or a pretzel or something.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's chips. I like crave them on breaks for sure.
Just don't do the hot dog chips because Devin tried to get us to eat those. And
Hot dog chips?
Yeah.
Are those at Disneyland?
well, he brought them to Disneyland.
Oh, you brought them. I've
They were
never heard of hot dog
flavored
chips.
chips. But I refused to try.
Are they good? Do you like them?
I didn't try them. I
Okay.
couldn't.
You couldn't do it. You couldn't with the name. It just isn't gonna happen. Never heard of that. I'd try them. I would try it. What else we got?
He says, I knew chips were the secret of youth.
They are. They are.
Oh, he's so funny.
Oh, my husband says, wants to remind you, if you want to listen to our original music on Spotify or Apple Music, sometimes it's hard to find like my profile unless you type my song title with it. So a safe one to do is Cassie B Honey. That's one of my like main songs. So if you want to listen to more of my original stuff on Spotify and all of that, just search, add Honey to Cassie B.
There it is.
Yeah. We'd love to share it. Who's going to be at Disneyland or at California Adventure on our dates? Is anybody going to be there? 15th, the 12th, 23rd?
Try.
The thing is, we have reservations for the 11th, all of us.
I know. It's like so crazy trying to keep reservations and making sure, especially like right now, it's like there's certain dates I have to have, and then there's certain dates that I'm just not going to be able to make it.
Right.
Let's see, Cassie B's performing. No, I can't do that one. Okay, no, just kidding.
I swear that's like all my friends are like, oh, we're going the day after. I'm like,
You're like,
of course.
why? Because it's a Friday. That's why.
Yes.
So let's see. You're performing on the 12th. You're also performing on. Let's see. Sorry.
I think you said the 15th.
15th,
15th and the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
So
performing in
basically-
January?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, 23rd, we're all blocked out for our passes. So
Right. That's what Game
Yeah.
Life was telling me.
unless someone blesses with a pass of some sort.
Right.
I do have a reservation on the 15th, though. Wow. So who knows?
There you
Maybe
go.
I'll be there for
Ooh,
the
it's a
5:45
new
and
person.
or sorry, 5:15, and there we go. I'll be like, I know her. And I'll be like, who cares?
Oh, that's awesome. I would love that. Yeah.
She's going to go eat chips.
She's gonna let her go. She has to eat her chips. She has to keep her voice warmed up.
I'll have to run up there on the live stream and see what it's like to get kicked off by security. Just kidding.
Oh.
Just kidding.
We've had a couple of kids like kind of storm the little like rope. They just like jump on over. I just kind of grab their hand and just dance them out. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
It'd be great. I did have a woman crash during Food and Wine, but understandable.
Really?
It's food and wine, you know.
A little too much wine
Having a
there.
little fun. They don't know the boundaries as well. I get it.
Does
cool.
that happen very often? Not just at Disney, but other performances you've done?
Oh yes.
Yes. Oh yes.
A guy tried to kiss me on New Year's Eve a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. Yep. Came right up to me, was like, he knew me and like went up to my face and was like, had these eyes like, I love you. I just like swooped around him.
I was going to say, did bass guitar in his forehead within a few seconds.
I know.
None
I
of
was
my
going to ask the
band
same
saw
thing.
it. It was so funny. The photographer, luckily, was right next to me, and like the guy got in his shot, so he saw it happen, and he kind of stood in front of me and like blocked the guy. But
Wow.
none of my band saw it because it was New Year's Eve. So like all the the confetti was going, and everyone was like cheering and like taking their drinks, and none of my band saw it to protect me. I know they would have, but they didn't even see it. But yeah, we've had some interesting moments for sure. And when you're in like the bars, anything can happen.
Oh, yes. I don't see any other questions.
Don't see anything else here. Anything else you want to share? I know, don't want to take up your whole night. We will if you'd like, but
You guys have a lot to talk about and a lot to cover, I'm sure. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. No, I'm glad I got to meet you all, and I hope I get to see you in person at some point. And yeah, just give us a follow and I'll give you guys a follow back. I'd love to just connect with more people, and we're always just trying to push, our art and what we love to do, and we're grateful to do it. So thank you for letting me share that with you guys. I really appreciate it.
No, this is awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And I added your song too. So I have my playlist on Spotify that my group After the Parks, we do karaoke. So we do
nice
music, but
karaoke. I love that. That's
I think
great.
you should invite Cassie on to join you. There you go. Do a
Join,
duet.
Right? I'm on Twitch for that.
That's so fun. That's so cool. I love that. That's huge.
Yeah.
I'll definitely learn about that and see what you got going on. Shout out to Gain Life and Janaea. Those two girls are fire. Yay. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you so very much. So everybody just keep an eye out. If I think if any of us are going to be there when you're on, we'll kind of highlight that for our viewers so they know, hey, we're here and we're going to see. So I think the 15th is a Sunday. I do Sundays every time. I'm just trying to get that reservation. So
yeah,
I look forward to that. I hope I get to see you on the 15th.
Me too.
Yeah, we'll definitely send a message out to you. I guess Instagram, is that the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, that's great. Yep. Instagram is kind of where I'm the most active. And yeah, just keep an eye out, because for the summer, if you guys are like local to Disneyland, if you're near there, we're doing like summer concerts like up and down California, but we're also trying to do more stuff in the new year, like nationally. So just keep an eye out and let us know where you are, and hopefully we can come somewhere where you are.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Cassie B.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on.
Yay. I shall bow out. You guys continue on, and I will be listening while I pack.
Awesome. Right. Thank you again.
Thank you guys.
Right. Bye. A little confetti there.
I like it. I know. Yes. I saw that.
Awesome. So yeah, everybody, we've got the links for Cassie B's YouTube and Instagram in the chat. Our mods will probably drop them in there one more time here. Make sure you guys go follow Cassie, and if you're in the parks and she's performing, be sure to go and say, hey, I saw you on Park Streamers Hangout, and keep all the good vibes going.
Mm-hmm.
Good vibes. Oh,
good vibes.
Good vibes.
I know. Where's good vibes?
Where is she?
Where's good vibes?
All right, EXP. Yeah, if you're on Insta, if you're on the IG, give her a follow.
And we got a bunch more people coming in. We've got Izzo's Place. We got Buddy Hepburn, Heather Jingle, Judy Jingles, Christina H, GV559, Nana, Mickey, Luke, Laura, Stephen S, Lauren Campbell, and Alan Smithy. And Monorail Molly just snuck in right now.
Hey, Molly.
So I think that covers everybody that recently came in.
Yes. Perfect. All right. So we've got some new things going on at the parks. If you a few things, right? The holidays are still going on. But we've got, and I'll let you guys talk about, because I think you guys know a little bit more. I don't even know what I do there. I'm like, it's just I'm running from show to show and I don't get to check out a lot of the other stuff. But the gift shop, which has not opened yet,
Right.
at Haunted Mansion. And what is it? Madame Leota's
Somewhere Beyond.
Right?
That's correct. Here it is, everyone. So Disney finally announced this last week. I believe it was the same day, or no, it was the day after they opened up the queue line. And they actually said, okay, we have the name for, the new Haunted Mansion gift shop. It's going to be called Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond. It's opening up this winter, and here's new concept art of what it's going to look like inside. So you can see it looks like they do have a little crystal ball there in the middle. I'm wondering if they're actually going to have a Madame Leota there that interacts with people. That'd be kind of cool. One of the things I've been told by my sources that it's going to be like the Museum of the Weird inside, and that they're going to have some things up along the tops of the walls, and possibly above this, fireplace they're showing here. Again, this is just a concept art. But you'll see things from Museum of the Weird in here. Like if you look in the background where I've got the mouse, you got the chair. This is like the chair that they have in the Haunted Mansion that was supposed to be in Museum from the Weird, plus all these little things that are up here, trinkets and whatnot. So I think it's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be cool inside. Outside is another thing. We've talked about that. I'm not so thrilled about that. It looks like a tough shed from Home Depot, but yeah, inside it looks nice. So their little information down here says no crystal ball needed, a ghostly retreat, so enter if you dare, for apparel, accessories, plush, and headwear, where home goods lurk and collectibles drop. The perfect gift dwells within the shop. Good fortune is upon you. Step into the candlelight corridors of Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond for souvenirs and keepsakes inspired by the Haunted Mansion and Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Bought something already? There's always room for one more. Okay, I love how they add that in there. So I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are on the name of this gift shop, because I've been debating what they're going to say. I knew it was something about Madame Leota, but Somewhere Beyond is what they came up with. Now, she says Somewhere Beyond, she says Regions Beyond inside the ride. But what's your thoughts on this title?
I would have gone with Regions Beyond. Mm-hmm. Somewhere Beyond just sounds too plain for some reason. I had to go and look, and I was like, does she say somewhere? I thought it was Regions, but it's both. And yes. I always associate Regions Beyond with Haunted Mansion, and that's just because it sounds different. It sounds unique. When you say Somewhere Beyond, it's like, okay, whatever. But I'm curious if the interior is actually going to look like that, because that looks like a very ornate gift shop. So I'm not sure if it's going to be able to remain looking like that, just because with that kind of furniture and things like that, it just seems like things would get bumped. And I mean, honestly, it's the kind of thing where if they're going to do a gift shop like that, sell the tables. You know what I mean? Have the tables be available, because those are the kind of things that mansion fans, if you did a table like that and it's got little, like the little bat stanchion toppers, but like engraved into the wood or metal or something, people would buy those for hundreds of dollars, and that's the kind of thing that, makes the shop's unique, when you've got like really, really cool stuff like that. Not that somebody could carry a table out, when you're at Disneyland, but still. But that's my only concern, is looking at it. It's like, it just looks too ornate for a typical Disney shop. So I'm hoping that it has that feeling when you go in there. If even if the fixtures may not be able to be quite what we're seeing here, I just hope it evokes that same feeling. Obviously they've got the look up portion covered with all the lamps and everything. So
what about you, Cordy?
I was going to say, I think I don't see it being exactly like this, of course, because that is true, right? Chairs will be sat in and things will break. But I think kind of like at Ray's Berets, they've got things high up, right? So you can't really touch them, but you can see them. Eudoras, you've got all the boas, you can't really get to them, but they're there. So just thinking in that kind of, that they could have it there on display. So it could look really cool inside. And
Yeah.
we're all just going to call it Madame Leota's. No one's going to say somewhere or anything.
Yeah,
beyond.
exactly. It's always going to be. You might even drop it just to Leota's.
True.
Well, and then that's the thing, is that it's like no one's going to call it that full name, and if they do, you're not going to hear it very often. Now, the one thing I've noticed, and you guys have probably noticed this too, is that, well, the concept art from Imagineers is not what it used to be, because usually in the past they would do concept art and it would look very close to what they put in the concept art, and now it's like, well, here's some concept art. It's not exactly like this, but we're going to do something maybe similar. I mean, look at the outside of the Haunted Mansion gift shop right now. I mean, if you look at it, obviously it makes me wonder, are they going to do anything else to it? Because it looks totally different from the concept art, as far as like what's put on, the sides. I mean, there's double doors, in the front of the shop, I think, for that. And on the sides, plus you have all this different artwork. And that's not what they have right now. It looks kind of plain Jane. So I don't know if they're going to continue working on it or not. But the other thing is, I'm being told by my source is that they're going to have Museum of the Weird in there. Well, they're going to have Museum of the Weird. They're probably not going to have a lot of these lamps and stuff inside. It's going to be more of a, showing the stuff from Museum of the Weird that never made it into the Haunted Mansion, ride, and stuff that they never put into the Museum of the Weird because Walt wanted to create it, but they decided not to do it after he passed away. So obviously they kind of lead you into that because they show Rolly Crump's design on the front, even though it's horizontal instead of vertical. Casual and I were talking about this, and he was saying that he thinks that plate is going to come off on the front because it's screwed in, and maybe it'll have the name underneath already. So that'd be interesting if they actually do that. But I'm hoping, because the store is not going to be very big. From the outside, it looks pretty huge. But if you really, take a step and walk as you're leaving the Haunted Mansion, you can tell it's not a very long or wide shop. So it's going to be fairly small. I think it's going to be just a little bit bigger than what they have over there right now by Pirates of the Caribbean in New Orleans Square. Obviously, all that merchandise is going to move over to here, and I'm sure they're going to have some new stuff as well. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Madame Leota Somewhere Beyond.
Yeah, the Museum of the Weird, I think that might be kind of like intermixed with the merchandise. So you'd have like, shirts, spirit jersey, and then a section with, an item from Museum of the Weird, and then, the ears or the whatever, and then another little section with something else from Museum of the Weird, just so that you're getting a taste of it rather than a section of it dedicated to Museum of the Weird. I think it's going to be kind of interspersed. That's how I would think. That's just my thoughts.
What my source is saying, it's kind of like Raised Braves. You have the jars all around the room.
Right.
It's going to be kind of like that, where you have different things around the room, more towards the tops, and hence why there's such a big ceiling. Apparently, they're planning on having more stuff up above that you can see. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm not so sure we're going to see all these different lampshades. Or if we do, maybe that's why they have the high ceiling, so they can hang more things like that. But I kind of hope that it's not exactly like this concept. It looks cool. Everything down below looks cool. I just think it has too many lampshades. Although it does look like they have some, it's supposed to be like candles flickering all over the place. That would be kind of cool if they do that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the inside looks like. I hope it's interesting and fun. So
yeah, me too, because it's not doing a lot of fanfare on the outside.
No,
at least not yet, huh? And it's just opening this winter, right? No date. I didn't see a date or anything.
Yeah, there's no date yet.
No date. So there's a lot of speculation on when it's supposed to open. My source hasn't even given me the date yet. So hopefully it will be soon. But winter is, could come out. I have a feeling it's going to come before, the end of the year. But it could come after. Maybe they'll open it up when the regular Haunted Mansion opens. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
That's true. That's very true.
So,
So, I mean, I don't, not to kind of move over next door, but I was just thinking about this because we were like, we saw it now, right? The queue, but we haven't been able to talk about it because it all just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah.
those.
I actually got lucky the day that I was there. What was it, Wednesday? When was I there?
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. I got to go through the entire queue because they've got it so they can section it off, obviously, and they can only use portions if they need to. I got to go through the entire thing. So yay for a 1 hour wait, but we did get to see it all. So
hey, you got to do a special Park Streamers Hangout.
I did get to do that. So make
Yeah.
sure you guys have the bell clicked because you never know when one of us is going to get to the park early and do a Park Streamers live stream update at the park. But going through the queue, I thought most of it, I'd say like 90% of it, is absolutely spectacular. Haunted Mansion fans are going to love it. There's some tiny little touches that I'm kind of like, interesting choice. And then it just needs to feel like it's been there longer. Everything looks too crisp and clean. And you just need a little bit of that, aged feeling just to get it to feel like it's been there for a long time. And I think that's going to just kind of show up, as the years go by. It's going to, become more and more lived in, and it's going to look even better. Because I think like right now, the big walls that are like the tan color, they just look too clean. You need to see a little bit of dirt and dust and, things like that. And, a little bit of the, trail from when it rains and the bricks, leave a little bit of staining and stuff like that. You just need a little bit of that. And you don't want it necessarily to be painted on. You want it to be real. They did do the crypt area with that aging and it looks nice, but that's a showpiece, so it's a little different. That one, I consider that, it's more than just, walls that are, delineating things and, adding to the background. That one that's a focal point. So it should be treated a little bit different, which I'm glad they kept all the fun, little names on the crypt and everything like that. I'm hoping, we'll get to see the tombstones soon because you can see them behind the scrim that's there. They're finishing up that little hill back there. But I'd say it's a fantastic change. I was nervous about it, especially once, from the different angles that we were able to look at the elevator area for the ADA access. That looked like it was going to be gigantic. And I was afraid that after we saw Madame Leota's, sticking out and being like, oh my God, this thing is like ginormous. I was afraid that was going to do the same thing. But the way they've positioned it, it's behind everything. You almost never see the full crypt or tomb or whatever you want to call it. You never see it, from certain angles to where it would dwarf and take the mansion out of perspective, So they positioned it just right. It's like there's the pergola or whatever in front of it so that when you're in the queue and you're looking toward it, it's disguised. You don't see this big monstrous, crypt in the back. So the way they handled that was perfect. I was really impressed with that because I was looking for it. I was like, that thing's pretty big. But when you're in the queue, you don't even notice it. It never feels out of place or out of perspective or size or anything like that. It's really well done.
I've never been, but GB says the new queue is nice, but I was hoping it would be more interactive like the queue in Florida.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was curious about that because personally, I find the queue in Florida to be a little too comical. It feels like it's gone too far into the silly, and Haunted Mansion is always riding that perfect line of silly and creepy to me. And I think the queue kind of went a little too far into the silly. That's just my opinion.
And then the music, right? We noticed the music change in the queue.
Yeah, it was really loud in some parts, and I didn't like that. It was kind of like it's just a little bit too loud. So
once you get to like that old area, right, where the little switchbacks, I was like, okay, and it must be really loud to other people.
Well, it kind of makes me wonder because you can hear it outside too, and it sounds pretty loud. And it makes me wonder: is the music vibrating between the walls, or is that creating like an echo chamber that is making it louder, or is it just that's how loud it is?
I think it's just how loud it is because when you're standing in front of the speakers, it's like really loud. So it's not that it's, like a bouncing, and kind of this weird echoey kind of loud. It's just that they have the speakers up really loud.
And I know you and I talked about this, Casual, but when they're doing like the chimes, it's the music box, chimes, that sounds perfect when you're walking up to the Haunted Mansion. This, while I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm inside the ride, but I'm not. I'm outside and I hear the music going. So it's like, to me, it was a little disappointing to hear how loud it was and that it was kind of like the music you hear inside. I'd rather hear stuff that I'm not hearing inside. And
that was exactly what I was going to say.
Oh,
it's exactly what I was going to say, is that I don't like that they play that it's a version of Grim Grinning Ghosts. I think exactly like you said, it should be something that's not in the attraction. It's something separate. It's your mood setter. And that's why it should be very, very subtle, very background-ish, much quieter, and something that's not in the ride, but kind of hints to what the ride is going to be about.
Correct.
I do agree with you on that.
So I haven't been through the queue either. I've been wanting to go through it. We tried to go on the Haunted Mansion the other day, but we couldn't. That's a whole nother story. I think we'll get to those stories a little bit later. But the thing is that the Haunted Mansion, to me, I was kind of hoping that we would have a little something like Walt Disney World. And I know what you mean. It's a little comical. It is. But at the same time, it kind of gives you something to check out and see and interact with in the queue. And I was kind of hoping they would do more interactions like that, or at least see a talking, Madame Leota, tombstone or something. It'd be kind of cool. But you don't really get that at all. And so I was a little disappointed because as you walk through the ride, and mind you, I was grabbing dinner and eating dinner while I was watching your live stream as you're going through the queue. And I'm like, okay, that kind of looks cool. I'm like, what? Why did they do that? Okay, that looks cool. I like that. So I was kind of going back and forth. It does look interesting and cool. But like you said, I think it looks a little too fresh. So hopefully as the next months and years go on, it'll get some of that wear and tear that, the Haunted Mansion needs. I mean, look, the mansion looks pristine on the outside. It looks beautiful. But you want some of that out in the, garden and tombstone area to be a little, gritty. So,
yeah. And I think for interactions, I think there's ways that they could probably do interactions without it being something comical, because like I said, Disney World, it's very much, a send up, if you will, of the story that's going on in the mansion over there. And in the queue, the way I see it now, it's like they've got the glass spheres and they've got some color lights in the trees. Do something, okay, you've got a magic band, you do a little wave of the magic band and the lights flicker a little differently or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the glass spheres light up in a weird glow and do something like that would be fine. Or even like when you get to the greenhouse area, you do a little wave like that and you hear like as if something's like walking on the top of the glass or something like that. You hear like clink, 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 clink. Just things like that I think could work. I don't like the comical, the too far into the comical.
But I'm surprised they didn't do that with the magic bands. Like you said, really subtle things would be great, because I noticed the orbs, right? Like the garden spheres. But and I was like, oh, those are pretty, right? It just kind of adds that color, and but that would be a great idea. Just something where you walk by and like, oh wow, right? But it doesn't have a big impact.
Right, or it pulses and your magic band vibrates in the same pulse kind of thing. Those kind of maybe they are eventually going to do those. Maybe it's when it goes back to Haunted Mansion proper, we get those kind of things. Who knows? I would hope that they would have thought about adding stuff like that, because our magic bands do hardly anything. Give us something.
Right, I
know. That's the funny thing. My wife had not been to Disneyland in almost 5 years. She went to DCA for Oogie Boogie, but she actually was at Disneyland since she hasn't been there since 2019. And she was asking Ariel and I about our magic bands and what they do, and we were kind of explaining to her, and she's like, "That's it." So
yeah, and I mean, like Brian Smith says, the lanterns at Not Scary Farm, stuff like that. That's what the magic bands are made for, and we just don't have much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but like I said, for me, it's like a 90% of a absolute win for that queue. Especially when you compare it to what was there, which was just switchbacks. It's like I think they did a fantastic job. There's minor little tweaks that I think they can make, and make it one of the best queues anywhere. But we'll see. Like I said, we may not have seen everything they have for us yet.
Right.
And you went, was that the only time you went through the queue?
Yeah, so far that's the only time I've been able to go through.
Because it was kind of dusk, right? It wasn't totally dark yet. Because I went through when it was dark, and
yeah, it was what, like 4?
Okay, yeah, that's what
It was like about 14 or so, I think.
Because I noticed later. I mean, I noticed that they brightened up a lot of spots in the parks, right? That used to be kind of dim, and you're like, I would even turn on my flash, your phone.
Uh-huh.
Where am I stepping? But I noticed it is pretty bright in the queue. When some of the people in the chat were commenting about it, like, I don't know, it's kind of, it's really bright in there.
Kind of too bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's
right.
It's one of those things where hopefully they can take a look at these things, and it's like, oh yeah, I think we've got. I mean, even the lights over at Madame Leota's right now. So you guys need to get some different color bulbs. You don't need 9,000 Kelvin bulbs in there. Come on.
It's like, talk about brightness. We don't need that over there. You would think it's Madame Leota's. It would be dimmer and more mystical, and I would have thought they would have had some blue or green flames or something. It's just these bright white LED lights,
and they need to flicker. They need to give a mood, and I'm not big on the whole constant purple and blue lights to give you the nighttime effect. So I'm kind of over that now, but they need something. They're just way too bright.
I hear you. But I just wish they would do something more towards the Haunted Mansion and that moodiness. You need that atmosphere. And I don't feel it when you walk there, you're like, whoo! She's like, I'm like,
so you
wait,
gotta put your sunglasses back on.
Is it so we can see Tiana's? I don't get it. Why is it so white over here? It's so bright.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if you look at it, if you compare it, you look at the lights that are over on the mansion, and they're a kind of a golden amber hue. And then you look over here and they're just a bright white. So,
yes.
Whose idea was that?
Yeah. And then you have these nice purple and other multicolored lights all over Tiana. She's like, oh, this looks so nice. Why is it so bright over here?
Yeah.
It could be something that they're going to change once it opens. And maybe it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's a safety thing where they're lighting that. Like I said, I've noticed they've really brightened the lights all over the parks. So I don't know if there were too many falls or...
Brian says they don't want you to miss that place. They want you to see their Haunted Mansion Sam's Club.
Be nice.
Too funny. Oh, night, Tom. Sorry you're fading, but thanks for joining us tonight.
Night, Tom. All right. That was I thought the queue was it's a welcome change to have a little more to look at. As you walk through, especially if you're waiting the 45 minutes.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, I thought the queue, it's to me, it's nearly a home run. Just like I said, tiny little things that I would have adjusted, but for the most part, like I said, once it's been aged a little bit, I think it's going to be fantastic. So I'm pleased with it.
Yeah. No, that was good. So. On to, I know we were going to talk about, there was something else because we had on kind of on our plan Spider-Man? Was the Spider-Man show, but there was something else we were going to talk about. Was it on the Disneyland side? I was trying to move from stay at Disneyland till we cross over to DCA. Maybe I'm crazy. Never mind. We'll move on to Spider-Man. So even that, I mean, it's been a long time since I've stopped to watch that, so I didn't even realize it had been canceled.
So here's the thing. So, as of the 17th, they actually said, that's it, done. We're not doing it anymore. And there'd been rumors that they were going to cancel the Spider-Man Stuntronic, show. And then all of a sudden, boom, guess what shows up as of today? It's showing up again and that it's actually running.
Oh.
But here's the thing, and this is why I wanted to bring it up, because supposedly from my source, and I've known this for, I want to say I've known about this for about a month and a half. I hadn't said anything because my source said, don't say anything yet. The show's getting canceled. It's not going to be performed. In fact, it maybe be cut before the end of the year. And then for sure, at the beginning of the year, it's going to be gone. And I said, really? I'm like, that's not cool. Why would they do that? And apparently they are still focusing on cutting budgets. And so the rumor was, okay, they're going to cut the union performers and they're just going to get rid of the show. And then a lot of people are saying, well, you can't get rid of the show because you got an animatronic Spider-Man, you can use that. So apparently what Disney's decided to do is that they decided that they're still going to use the animatronic performer, the robot, because it's not a union employee. And they're going to go ahead and continue running that show without all the other humans. So that's apparently what they're planning on doing. Now, it's not a very long show. It's a very short show. You see the, animatronic go once, and then you see Spider-Man, running around the buildings and then come down to take photos with everyone. Supposedly, they're just not going to have that performer who does the running around the buildings and coming down to take photos. Now, they're still going to have Spider-Man around to take some photos, but it's going to be, and that performer that takes photos is a different performer than the one that's typically running around the buildings and stuff, except the very end. So apparently, they are going to get rid of the performers and possibly still run the show with the animatronic. But my sources tell me that possibly could not happen as well. So my sources said basically, look, the show is not going to be the same. It's going to be a very short rundown version of what you see now. And I was like, it's already short enough as it is. What are you talking about? And I mean, to be honest with you, if all they do is say, okay, Spider-Man, and then the animatronic comes out and then crashes into the building. I mean, doesn't crash into the building. Sorry. I love that video, by the way, when the animatronic crashed into the building that one time. If it does its thing and then they say, okay, check out Spider-Man, they're going to come out to take photos. To me, that's kind of a waste of time and it's boring. The other thing is too, though, you also have to pay the performer or the people backstage who are doing the animatronic and stuff like that. So that's why my source is saying there's still a good chance it's going to be completely gone after the first of the year. They're just going to do some short shows throughout, the Christmas season, and then boom, it's going to be gone. So we will see what exactly happens. But from the rumor mill coming from the berry patch there, that's supposedly what's happening, is that they are getting rid of the union employees so that they can actually just run the animatronic and then end the show after the first of the year. So we will see what happens. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on the show? Do you guys watch it? Do you enjoy it?
I think I've maybe seen it once.
Once? Wow.
I watched it a lot, but then and then it's still packed though, so it doesn't matter what we say. We go there, hundreds of times a year. So it's like, but the crowds are still showing up for it. The kids love it, the parents love it. So I don't know. I thought it was, it's a nice little distraction show right as you're walking through, or I would think they would want it because it kind of, how they like to funnel people around, right? So it's like, oh, if people stand here for 30 minutes waiting for it to start and then watching the show, the 5-minute show or whatever it is very short.
Right.
It just kind of keeps people, they know where they are. They can keep them there for a while, but
yeah, I mean, it's always good to have another entertainment offering, as short as it is. I don't know how they're going to do it if you don't have a Spider-Man performer. I don't know how do you do that show with just an animatronic. I mean, at that point, it's all right, Spider-Man, come on out.
Yes, and I think
all right, now we're done. It's like
what he'll do. He'll just show up where he always is to take pictures, to the photo op area with the graffiti in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless it's just the kind of thing where the tumbling and the lowering down is what requires, a specific casting, if you will.
I would
That
imagine
has to
so.
even though it's just very light tumbling, but I mean, once you're on the cable and coming down a wall like that, it's got to be, a stunt performer. It's not
Yeah.
just your average, character performer. So at that point, is it just that there's no more tumbling, but Spider-Man comes out on the ledge, waves, and says, "Oh my gosh, I got to go," and he dashes off to the side, and then they fling the animatronic, and then he shows up at the bottom and says, "Hey, everybody," and does the meet and greet, and you just eliminate any of the stunt performer functions.
I don't know. To me, and I get it. Disney. We talked about this past summer. Look at all the things they cut. They got rid of the Doctor Strange show, right? And then they cut the Five and Dime a bit, and what else they get rid of? There's a bunch of shows they got rid of. I'm on a blank right now. But the thing is, like, they kept cutting budgets because they needed to, which is really interesting considering the fact that Disney just made $1.6 billion off the theme parks this past year. But they're still looking for budget cuts, apparently. And that's the whole rumor from my source, is that they need to cut budgets even more. So EXP is saying, why are we needing budget cuts with so many monetary inflation? Well, Disney's still looking for things. But what I really liked is the comment from GV559. He says, the Spider-Man animatronic will be selling churros when he's not doing a show. That's funny.
But that's where we're headed.
Well, I know.
We're headed to robots being able to do that. And it's going to be really cool at first until it's like, oh, hey, we just eliminated an entire swath of employees.
Well, it's already started. Hey, it's already happening in one of my favorite sushi joints. You already got a robot coming around delivering and taking your stuff. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Obviously I'm disappointed to hear that, this thing could be going away very, very quickly. It's to me, it's not a very long show. It's a fun show. Do they need it? To me, they need it because Avengers Campus just doesn't have enough to offer right now. And now that you've gotten rid of this Doctor Strange show, yeah, you have some characters that, stand around and take photos, but you don't really have anything except for 2 rides and a couple shops. So it's like, and a place to eat. And that's about it.
And that's why Deadpool is telling Christmas stories.
That's true. He is back. I missed that the other day too. So I wanted to see it, but didn't get a chance to. So I'm hoping to go back and catch it. Have you guys seen it yet?
I haven't.
Yeah. You get to see him on his unicorn. So I never did see it when it first all came out, and everybody was getting their little content on that. So he comes in riding on his unicorn and off stage. So it was fun. I mean, it's the same new story, but it's that same vibe. So
yeah,
it's still packed. It's still packed shows every single time.
It's popular.
Mm-hmm.
Which shows you exactly how much people enjoy live entertainment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing, is that it's not very long. It's, got some funny parts. I mean, not all of it's funny, but it's got some good funny parts. It's something that, is, all the teens and young adults are totally into, Deadpool and the Wolverine, and Wolverine's still there, from what I hear, correct, in the show?
Yes. He wasn't on the one I saw.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, bummer. I heard he was still there. But the thing is that it's fun to see these things, and I enjoy being entertained. But like we were talking about the last show, it's like, well, they're going to start charging for these shows. If that's what their plan is, especially because that's what they're doing at Tokyo right now, look out. I'm not looking forward to that.
Interesting. But yeah, no, live entertainment. I mean, if you just look at how long I sat an hour waiting for the parade a couple nights ago because I wanted a specific spot. Like, just I think they understand that people love the live entertainment. There's just something like what we've talked about, whether it's, monetary, the union piece of like, because, and we're in California, so, it's a little bit stricter regulations, especially with, if they get injured, heaven forbid, but, like things like that. So, but yeah, I would hope they would know, because it's like people wait a long time
Yeah.
in one spot to watch all of these different, even I saw which was really fun, the Maribel. I don't have the full name, but there's, the new show that they added for Encanto, but I stood there too. Devin knows we were like crammed in there, just like holding a spot for a long time. And it's, they have it in this little area, like every time the bands, everything's been packed. So, I appreciate that they have as much as they do, but it's a little rough, especially Brian had brought up about the Navidad parade, right?
Right.
They put back and we only get weekends. We don't even get Fridays. We just get
Right.
Saturday and Sunday, even with Thanksgiving weekend. I thought maybe, I was like, oh, maybe we'll get, extra, but we didn't get anything on that Friday. So
I know. We wanted to see it on Saturday too when my wife was with us, but there's so many things happening. We wanted to catch the parade. Yeah, we wanted to go on certain rides, and it was really busy, and we never got a chance to see it. And I was kind of bummed because it's one of our favorite shows, and I enjoy it too. I think it's a wonderful show, and I'm glad they do it every year. I'm just, again, it's kind of a bummer that they're not doing it during the week and only on the weekends. So,
well, they switch it with the Maribel show, right? So Maribel goes Monday through Friday, and then Navidad is Saturday and Sunday.
But it's totally two different.
No, I know they're completely different.
Day with that. It's a cute show. I love Encanto, but yeah, that Navidad's just like so much fun.
And the couple of times that I've been through the hub when the mariachi show is going on, the one that has Miguel from Coco, that one's packed.
Yes.
That one pulls in a lot of people. Which is interesting because Five and Dime doesn't usually have a crowd watching them. They get some people, but for the most part, it's kind of like Cassie B was saying that they'll stop, listen for a second, and then they'll move on. But the Miguel show, it pulls in the crowds
because you've got a character, right? That's probably a big.
I don't know because. It just seems like, because like when I saw it, Miguel he doesn't go in the whole time, right? He shows up a little bit like midway through, if I'm not mistaken.
Midway through the end, but I've watched it a few times now, but it's always
because they come do the little procession as they're coming toward the hut, and it just people swarmed in. It was like,
and then the mariachis, that's like a big draw too, right? It's a really good show. I like that one.
Yep.
So did you think of the other thing that we were supposed to talk about?
No, I think
was it my experiences on Saturday?
No. Okay, we're all right, everybody. No, I'm kidding.
Buckle up.
Looks like we're ending a little early tonight.
Oh, brother.
So yeah, we were all in the parks, I think, this last week. And I know Bob Berry plays 28. He was there on a leisurely trip. Leisurely.
Yes.
Family trip.
Are we talking about that?
Experience like not streaming with your family as just a Disney guest. What was your experience?
It's funny. You're right. Because we're there all the time. Typically, we're streaming, and so I really was looking forward to spending some time. I think we've talked about this on the show, but we decided not to renew my daughter's pass, and it was expiring as of yesterday. And so my wife had a ticket, and we decided, hey, let's go as a family right before Ariel's pass expires, and let's have a great time. And we're like, this is great. The only bad thing is we're doing it the weekend of Thanksgiving weekend, which is a busy weekend. So I knew it was going to be busy. But I was looking forward to going because my wife hasn't gone in a long time. The last time she was there, well, fairly I want to say it was maybe. So we went for my birthday in 2019, and unfortunately, she was walking down Main Street and she twisted her foot as she stepped off the curb, and she actually
Mhm.
broke, or actually, was she broke her? What was it? I can't remember exactly, but she messed up her tendons and she broke her ankle, and it kind of ruined the trip. And that was it. And we didn't really get to experience Galaxy's Edge because we were there to spend my birthday there and check that out. So she went a couple more times after that because we had passes, and then since then, actually I don't know if she had a pass. Anyhow, long story short, it's been a long time since she's been there, so I was looking forward to going. I got up early. We got a Tiana's virtual queue, yay! And we were able to go on that ride, and that's where the whole thing kind of began, because we decided to go there a little late. My wife doesn't have a lot of patience with rides, so I made sure that we had the lightning lane for the multi-pass, and then I made sure that we didn't get there right at park opening, because she doesn't like staying all day long or whatnot. So we got there, I think it was about 10 a.m. and got into the park, and we actually were having a great time, riding rides, checking things out. And finally our time's up for Tiana's, and I'm like, all right, let's head over there. And she's like, well, how long's the virtual queue? I'm like, it shouldn't take very long. I think the longest I've been in line was about 40 minutes, and that was the very first time I ever rode it. And ever since then, it's been, you walk through within 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes it's not very long. And we got in line, and one of the things, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they need some crowd control out there, because people are like crowding to try to get in, and they need to say, hey, let's form a line this way for if you have a virtual queue, and if you don't have a virtual queue, but you have a question, come over here. It's just kind of crowded. So we get through that, and well, I noticed that it was taking a long time for us to wait in line, and an hour into waiting in line, we had not even gone up the stairs. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I sent a message out to our group that we have on Instagram and said, hey guys, it's busy in the park today. By the way, we've been waiting for an hour and still haven't gone up the stairs yet. It ended up taking about an hour and 43 minutes for us to go through that line. And I know that Sammy Bear had mentioned in the comments, it's probably because of the lightning lane. And the funny thing was, not a lot of people were using the lightning lane. So I was like, this is weird. You didn't hardly see anyone coming up through the lightning lane. I mean, there were some, but not a whole lot. So they weren't holding up the line. I'm not sure what was going on. The ride didn't break down. It was just taking a long time. And I did notice that when we got up there, they were taking their sweet time getting the logs to go by. But the first thing we encountered was I didn't want to sit, in the front, because the last time I sat in the front, I got soaked. So I asked the lady, hey, can we sit in the back? So we're not taking requests right now. And the funny thing was she just took requests from the people in front of me. So I was like, okay. And so she said, I'll give you guys your own log. You can have row 2, 3, and 4. And we're like, okay. Well, there's some people who are behind us said, we'll take 1 and 2. She's like, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, but if they want to take 1 and 2 and we want to take 3, 4, and 5, that works. And it's a full log. No, you take 3, 4, and 5, 2, 3, 4, and they're going to take, another log. And I'm like, okay. So she was just kind of rude. And I was like, okay, just one of those things. Not so bad. Right. So, but by the time we got done with Tiana's, it was well over, 2 hours and 15 minutes, I think. By the time we got, on the ride, rode it, got off, because we actually sat, the logs were jamming up towards the end. But then we headed over to Red Rose Tavern, and we walk in, and we were starving because we hadn't had any lunch, and it was, a little past 2:00 now. And we walk in, and there literally is hardly anyone there. I'm like, this is great. No one's in here. We're going to order some food. We're going to eat real quick, and then we'll be on to more rides. And so I walk up to the cast member, and we literally had one person behind us. And I said, hey, listen, I said, I want to get your chicken cordon bleu sandwich, but I don't like spicy Dijon mustard. Can I get it without that? No, you can't. Why? We're too busy. There's like one person behind me here, and they're going to another register right now. What do you mean you're too busy? And he's like, oh, we were so busy earlier. We're taking a special request. And I said, well, you're not busy now, so can you do that? And he goes, no, we're not doing that. Okay, fine. So then I ordered for my daughter and my wife, and they wanted tavern burger. And then I was like, oh, can you not put the house sauce on it. And I remembered he said no for the last one. And he goes, no, we can't do that. We're not doing any special requests right now. And Ariel looks at me like, I don't want the special sauce on the burger. Another cast member heard me and heard the employee or the cast member, and she walks up and she's like, you can't do that. If they have allergies, especially the kids, you got to take that off. And he goes, oh, we can do it. I said, oh, great. So you can do it now? And he's like, yeah, we can go ahead and do it. And I said, great. Can you take it off the spicy mustard off of the other sandwich? No. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just, and I go, well, they normally don't put a whole lot on there. Right now, they just put a small dollop. Oh my goodness. So I walk away, and as I walk away, I took a picture inside. It was empty in there. There was no one standing in line or anything like that. And we get our food, and they literally covered my chicken in spicy Dijon mustard. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, fine, no problem. So then we headed off to Main Street, and we watched the parade. And then afterwards, they have, for those of you who've been there, they actually have things set up now for the candlelight processional, which is coming up this weekend, which is great. They have everyone going through the exit for the train station, and as you're going in, they didn't have a lot of people get off the train, but they weren't loading the train very well. And there were spots still on there. And we're like, hey, we can sit over there. And there's literally 2 people in front of us. I said, you can go over there. We can go over there. Nope. We're not loading any more people on the train. I'm like, but you have open spots, and look how long the line is. Nope, not doing that. I'm like, wow, customer service is really kind of down today. What's going on with that? That's kind of weird. And then we go to the monorail station, and we were excited because Maria and Ariel wanted to ride in the front of the monorail. And so I'm like, this is great. So we get up there, and the blue monorail's there, and it takes off, and some other people got in the front. So we said, we're going to wait for the orange monorail. So we're waiting for the orange monorail, and what they normally do is they normally open up the gates down by the exit, or not the exit, but the end of the monorail, and then they open them up systematically towards the front. And so, the cast member knew that we were waiting for the front, and all of a sudden, this lady comes all the way from the back, and she just comes right up to the front of the cabin. And we walk up behind her, and she starts pushing all the buttons to see if she can open the door. And of course, they have the door locked. And I said, "Oh, you can't do that." And she's like, "Excuse me?" And I'm like, "You can't." She goes, "I'm trying to get in." I go, "I know, we'll get in." I said, "It's just that they don't keep it open, because." You can actually control the monorail inside. And she's like, okay, but I'm waiting to get in. So we were here first, she says. And I'm like, well, we were waiting over here too. I said, no problem. We can all fit in there. It's not a problem. Well, the monorail is not, they filled up all the cabins, but they're not taking off yet. And no one's coming to let us in. And I'm like, what's going on? And the 3 cast members are having this meeting. They're talking. They're spending so much time talking. The blue monorail is now coming back, and it's going over the lagoon. And I'm like, that's weird, that it's already going over the lagoon. This hasn't taken off yet. And so they come up, and the lady looks at me and my wife and says, did you guys touch the buttons here? And we're like, no, we didn't touch the buttons. And she's like, someone touched the buttons here. Well, yes. And the lady says, oh, I did. And she's like, why'd you do that? Oh, I didn't mean to. I said, look, she didn't know. I told her you can't hit the buttons. And she's like, you're not riding. And we're like, what? And she's like, nope, we've all decided you're not riding. You need to come over here. And she's like, but I don't understand. I didn't mean to hit the buttons. And by the way, I forgot to mention she's from Italy. So she had a very strong accent. And so she was very, very upset. And her husband's like, hold time out here, because her husband was there. And he's like, so you're telling me that we're being punished because my wife touched the buttons? And they said, well, you locked everything up. And they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, you mean, did the monorail shut down or something? Is that why you guys are over there? I don't know what's going on. I said, but, she didn't mean to hit the buttons. She's excited to ride in the front. Just, I don't see what the problem is. Let's go ahead and let them ride with us. No, we're not letting them ride with you. They can go back there and they can, stand in line and they can catch the next monorail, maybe. And we're like, wow, they're from another country visiting. This is crazy, And my wife was like, what's going on today? I just don't get this customer service. I'm like, I don't know. So then we go over to DCA and we go to Guardians of the Galaxy, and we can't wait to get, on this ride. It's one of my wife's favorite rides. And so we are standing in line. They announced that yeah, one of the cars is actually broken down and they're not running it. And it turns out there was 2 of them and they weren't running them. And we happened to be upstairs, and finally it opens up right as we're coming up to the cast member to say, how many people do you have in your party? And the cast member comes running back. She goes, it's open. She goes, everyone follow me. And so the 2 people in front of us go, and then me, my wife, and my daughter start going. Another cast member walks up and goes, whoa, where are you going? We're going down that way. No, you can't go down that way. I go, the cast member just told us to go down there. She goes, you can't go that way. Why are you going that way? I just told you, the cast member just told us to go that way. What's the problem? You can't go that way. I'm like, it's open, right? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I don't get this. So the cast member comes running back and she's like, let them come down here. So then she's like, okay, you can go now. And my wife's like, oh my God, what is going on here? But the worst was yet to happen. And this was, we went to cars, and I had gotten the lightning lane, single lightning lane for us, because, we were trying to ride as many rides as we could. This is going to be the last time my wife's at the park for a while. Same with my daughter. And so we get through and we stand in line, and the guy says, how many people? And we said, 3. And he goes, okay, take row 6. So we take row 6, and our car comes up, we get buckled in and everything. And the guy comes up and yells at my wife, and he says, what are you doing? You were in single rider. And he's pointing at her. And I'm like, whoa. I said, no, she wasn't. He goes, well, you single rider? And I go, I wasn't a single rider. I said, there was 3 of us. And he goes, who told you to come this line? I go, you did it. We told you we had 3 people. And my wife and I explained to him, we told you we had 3 people. You told us to go to row 6. And he was like, are you sure? And he was just mean and mad. And I mean, the way he was pointing his finger, it was like, I've never, ever been treated like that. And so he gets upset and he walks away. And we're just looking at each other like, this is unbelievable. Every time we've gone someplace, we've had some weird, bad experience tonight. And I will tell you, everyone, I love Disneyland. I love the cast members. I have a cast member sticker that I pass out, and you guys have seen it. It says cast member extraordinaire. And every time I see a really good cast member, they do something great, I tell you guys, hey, let's give a cast compliment. Here's a sticker to them. And we compliment them. But I'm not even streaming, and we're just here as guests, and we keep having one issue after another, and we're just like, okay, this is crazy. And then the last thing to happen to us, which I thought was interesting, is that we went to Jolly Holiday because my wife was craving dessert. And so we finally get up in line and said, okay, well, we want the raspberry macaroon. And then I said, can I get the banana bundt cake? And they're like, nope, we don't have any more. I'm like, really? Because that whole case over there is full of, banana butt cakes. Yeah, we're not selling those. Why? Because we're not. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you not selling those bundt cakes? And then she goes, oh, it's because they're already purchased for mobile order. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. That's all you had to say in the first place. But she was just so, rude, and she didn't say anything. And I was like, okay, I'm like, why didn't you guys put them in the case then if you already sold them for mobile order, because it makes it look like you have, all these desserts. She goes, anything in this case, anything in that case, we cannot sell. It's only this case right there. And I'm looking, and there wasn't a whole lot in the case. Thankfully, the raspberry macaroons we wanted were available, but we were just dumbfounded, the whole night or a whole day, because we basically was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 instances of poor customer service. And I don't ever encounter that when I'm streaming. So the fact that we encountered that as a family, just going to have fun, was just kind of disappointing. It was just like, wow. This is unbelievable. And again, this, like I said, this normally doesn't happen. Every once in a while, sure, you encounter a cast member. I'm a former cast member, but if I had done that back in the day, there would have been hell to pay or something like that. These employees, I don't know if it was just maybe, they were having a bad day, or if maybe it was so busy and kind of crazy, but the fact that we kept running into these issues all day long, it was just kind of like, oh, geez. And then on top of that, my wife doesn't have a lot of patience to stand in line or to deal with people like this. So it's like, this is not a good experience at all. So it was just disappointing, because I was expecting to have this amazing experience at the park, and it was one of the disappointing. And then my wife turns to me and goes, and you support Disney and you go to the parks all the time? Is this how you do all the time? I'm like, no, not at all. It just happens to be today. She's like, figures. I'm like, So yeah, it was just really kind of crazy. I just couldn't believe that had happened when I was just trying to have a normal non-streaming day. So
Yeah.
happens.
Yep.
That's a bummer. And I was thinking of your wife, like, oh my gosh. When you were letting us know in the chat or chat.
When it started with the whole, we were waiting for Tiana's for like an hour and 43 minutes. I was like,
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have a lot of patience for that. And then, and here's the funny thing. So I go, okay, can I ask you a question? I said, what did you think of the ride? Did you like it? She goes, well, it was like Splash Mountain and everything, and it looked nice. And she goes, some of the characters were really kind of cute. And I great, kind of like what my daughter had said. And I said, did you understand the story? She goes, what story? Like, exactly. And the funny thing was, we were in line for such a long time. We were by the speakers where it's explaining what's happening, what's going on. I said, did you listen to those speakers? She goes, to be honest with you, it sounded boring. I'm like, okay, well, that's a bummer because we were in line for a long time. I would have thought she caught on to the story, but she didn't. And I explained to her, and she's like, huh? She goes, couldn't they just follow the movie? I go, it's a movie. She, Oh, and then I don't know about you guys, but Tiana's mouth was not moving at the end, and then Mama Odie's mouth when you go on the incline, and the very end is not moving still. But Juju is working, so the snake is coming out now, and it's great to see him. So that's awesome. But I'm hoping they fix these animatronics. So
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the snake. I think he's maybe been working once, and it was just like a quick little zoop, and he was gone. So,
yeah, that one day we rode, he was off to the side. He kind of like peered off to the side. That's the first time I'd seen him do that. But yeah, he's been popping up for me now lately, which is great, and I'm glad. I like seeing the snake. He's kind of comical.
Very cool. So, how would you rate your day at Disneyland?
Well, I with the family, we still had a good time, and so it was definitely a 9 out of 10 for the family. But and we got some really good photo ops, next to the castle and things like that. But as far as the day went with cast members, yeah, that was more like a 4 out of 10, unfortunately. So, yeah.
It's got to be rough though for the cast members on days like that, where, I mean, you got people pushing buttons on the monorail when they're not supposed to. Cars. Who knows how many people have been giving them grief as it is. It stinks when it gets to that point to where they can't keep it together and remember, hey, we're still creating magic, and don't let somebody else take the brunt of what another person, caused.
But I think, that kind of goes back to, because what I've noticed, and I know we've talked about this before, is there definitely is a shift, like the way that the cast members used to go through training.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the main
part
of it, right? Is the guest experience. And I think when you kind of lose that, and you've got like, I don't know for certain, but it seems like there might be more of like, okay, you're over here, and you kind of get like, here's the rundown, and that's it. So you could be frustrated as a cast member because you're like, I don't know, or you're following your lead. If whoever, your leader is kind of has that attitude, right? You're going to have the same. So there's just so many things, not that it's right, not that it makes it right at all. But I mean, that's kind of the vibe I get when I'm there sometimes. You get the people that are like, I'm here because I love it. And I know those things, even if no one trained me to do that. But I know from coming here and just that's what, they expect. So
what disappoints me is because I'm a former cast member, and I knew, and I get it, times have changed, but Disney has always been, typically above everyone else when it comes to customer service, theme parks, all that stuff. And it just feels like lately, some of that is, I don't know, they're just not adhering, or they're not really like if you had a problem with the customer or something happened, you always called, a lead or the supervisor, and they would, help out the situation, but you never got in arguments with the cast or with the guests, or, accused them of stuff, or, yelled and pointed your finger at them or anything like that. It was just really weird. And especially when the cast member yelled at my wife, I was like, okay, that was about the breaking point for us at that point. And she was furious. She was like, how dare they treat me like that? And the thing is that the cast member had moved from the line we were in to the single rider line. And so that's why I guess he assumed, because he had miscounted, or someone miscounted for the people who were actually in line. And the fact that he, yelled and screamed and pointed his finger and then got mad at me too, I was like, really? Come on. That's not really, the Disney way over here. I wouldn't be doing that. I just, obviously, and that's the thing. That's the other thing I didn't tell you. He was actually telling the cast member, don't let them go. It was like, don't let the car go. He was going to make us get off or something. And I was like, what? So, but yeah, unfortunately, things like that do happen from time to time. I'm not going to say they don't. I just wish that it hadn't happened so many times with my family, especially when it was a family vacation. And I feel bad for the people from Italy, because, think about it. They're on a vacation from another country, and to be treated like that, and he said it exactly. So this is a punishment, right? You're punishing us because my wife touched the buttons. She didn't mean to. She just was trying to get in. She didn't know how to get in, and you're punishing us. And yeah, it's sad that cast members were doing stuff like that. But
yeah, and I think there's, like we've talked about too, is to make sure you fill out the guest survey, right, if you get sent one. And I also think it's a good reminder too, and I know we all try to do this, right, cast compliments. So let's keep trying to give kudos where they're due, and try the positive, right, get that positive message out there. So I know. I
like Paul. He's like, make a sticker that says, "Hey, better days ahead" as a CM. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that, Paul, but I'll stick with my cast member extraordinaire compliment sticker. And that's so. Sorry, I didn't mean to unclick that. Traditions.
I was just gonna.
Now, yeah.
Because I was going to say, just from my daughter, went through that in 2016, so that wasn't that long ago, and it's much different just in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think 2020 was a gigantic shift.
Oh yes.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that was the institutional knowledge that was lost after 2020 could potentially be the downfall of the company. It's got the potential to be that rough that we may be seeing, we may be just at the beginning of the decline if they don't right the ship. When it comes to stuff like that, you guys, we all know Disney was the epitome of it. They were who every other company pointed to say, we want to have employees that are as good as Disney employees. I still remember people used to, I had friends that hated going into the Disney store because they said, you're going to have, like, by the time you walk 20 feet, 7 people are going to say, "Hi, welcome" to you. Because that was how you were supposed to treat the guests.
Yeah.
And it's, and to me, that's part of why I think the attractions break down as much as they do. Part of the reason, not all of it, but I think the cast members just don't have that same knowledge of how to work the attractions the way the old timers did. They took pride in being able to work things, and they knew those tiny little idiosyncrasies of each attraction and how to maneuver when there was, like, a guest with an issue that, okay, they're not understanding what to do or whatever. They knew how to pivot and be able to manage it and keep the thing running. And I think that's just part of what's been happening at the parks ever since 2020 is there's just been this decline and the loss of the old timers with that kind of knowledge to be able to pass it on and to be able to hold the new cast members up to that standard and say, no, this is how you have to, you cannot let the standard drop lower and lower. It's got to be right here the whole time. There is no lowering the bar. That's how it used to be. Now, I don't know if it feels quite that same. I think that's what you were kind of saying, Courtney, is there's just been that little bit of a slip in that service type of area. And if the culture continues on that trajectory for Disney, that's going to be very, very bad for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's, what I was going to say. So like when I go to SeaWorld or other places, I don't expect, I expect good customer service, obviously. But obviously when I go to Disneyland, I guess I expect a little bit more, just because they usually are, the height of, customer service. But even I've noticed lately when it comes to like loading cars and rides and stuff like that. So one of my biggest complaints at SeaWorld is they don't know how to load the cars or the rides very well. And it takes forever to get on a ride because they're not doing it. And that's how it's been lately. I mean, even the other night when Ariel and I went to go on, Casey Jr. and we're like, hey, there's plenty of room there. We can take that. And she said, nope. It's like, okay, but you could get some other people from line and put them in there, whatnot. And the same with the, they were kind of doing the same thing with, whatchamacallit the other day, the logs. And I know that lately, because they've had problems, they haven't been loading, 6, 7. But, they definitely have not, they weren't even, they were doing a lot of the 2, 3, 4s for the logs and instead of, trying to fill them up, which is kind of weird. Going back to the whole thing about the monorail, GV559 says, maybe do not press the button sticker would avoid any problems. And my wife was saying that too. They should actually put a sticker on the outside, just letting people know, because now that they're letting people ride in the front and back, they should definitely, have something so that people know. But anyhow.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to open it up for questions from the folks in the chat. Do you guys have any closing comments, any questions for us, or even about our earlier segment with Cassie B, our special guest tonight?
Yeah, that was a cool segment.
Mm-hmm. The infamous roast.
6. I just saw that too.
That's so funny.
Get row 6 and you can spread out.
That's right.
It is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you got room to put a bag next to you.
So you get, I know, because you put your bag next to you when you're sitting there, especially with like a streamer bag. You're like,
yeah.
Oops, no, not that one. I wanted to just, yes, EXP. That was great. I'm really happy that we got that.
Yeah,
thank you again, Gain, for
kudos to Gain Life for
getting that going for
on the show.
All of us.
And if you guys have any suggestions as someone that we should have that is at the parks or you'd like to see on the show, let us know.
We were talking about knots. Now it just came to me.
Oh yeah.
Knots.
Well, it's kind of late into this one. We may have to.
But we could do the favorite new food.
Yeah, favorite new food. As far as new foods, I think the only new one that I've tried, I tried the honey maple wings, was it?
Yes, that was good. We tried
the honey maple wings. Those were good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the cinnamon roll cheesecake, which was pretty good, especially for $6. I was like, it's a good size, good flavor, and a decent price.
It sounds good. I haven't tried it yet.
I still need to go.
Yeah, you do.
Like last year, I think I went once.
That's it? Well, hey, we're going to be blocked out for a couple weeks, so you'll have plenty of time to go over there if you want.
Yeah, I know.
Brian Sevilla said the honey maple wings were definitely good. I enjoyed them. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had the sandwich, so Casual and I tried the sandwich together,
Yeah.
and I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not huge on mashed potatoes on my sandwich, but mashed potatoes, the turkey, the gravy, the cranberry, it's actually really good.
It was a pretty good sandwich this time. The first time I'd had that sandwich a couple of years ago, I was like, oh, but there was something that they had run out of one of the ingredients. I think it was the stuffing. So it was like, it doesn't taste the same without stuffing.
Yeah.
Bob, can you get that? Can you do that? For us? Get us
The Dijon mustard slinger
as a guest.
Sponsored by Great
Poupon.
Yeah. So funny. It's funny because Slim's going, well, we need Gain Life. We'd love to have her, but Gain Life, maybe one of these days she'll join us. We'll get lucky.
Yeah, she said she hates me, so she's not going to come on the show. I think that's what it was.
Okay. I didn't even click on that. This one. Anyone going to Grinchmas this year? Are either of you going to Grinchmas over at Universal?
I have no plans of going to Universal, unfortunately. I'd love to get back there. I really want to get back to Universal, but it's hard enough.
Far from where you live or something.
Yeah, there's that. There's the 2-hour drive for starters.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. You, Cordy, are you going to go?
I plead the fifth. No, wait, Devin's here. I think we're supposed to go.
You heard it right from her, Slim. No, just kidding. Yeah, I would like to too. I don't know. Maybe I can do that since Ariel doesn't have a pass to Disneyland anymore. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. I haven't been. So the funny thing is, since I started streaming, I have not gone to Universal once to stream over there. Of course, I get a little leery because after seeing Casual stream over there and how many things or getting him copyrights or didn't you get shut down a couple times?
Yeah, it just once. It got shut down once, and there was one of the songs at the end of Minions.
Gotcha. Yeah,
that's
my thing.
But I had a blast the day that I went. And I didn't even get to see everything. I didn't get to do Transformers. I didn't get to do Secret Life of Pets. I didn't get to see Waterworld. So there is like a ton of stuff I still need to see. But Harry Potter was just mind-blowing for me. I could not believe how good that was.
It's amazing. I love what they've done in Florida. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do for Epic Universe because everything they've done over there is pretty amazing. Although I will say Diagon Alley, it's cool. The ride, the one through the Gringotts Bank, it's okay. It's not a bad attraction. A lot of screen on that roller coaster ride, but I do like what they did, especially the Hagrid's motorcycle ride. Oof, that is so cool.
Yeah, that looks good. And Rhoda Kamish will be at Universal on Thursday.
Our Universal Hollywood?
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah, he's out. He's going to be out for a few days. He'll be doing knots in Universal.
Nice. Have a great time.
Do you see any other questions in there?
I don't, but I do want to say a happy birthday to Sammy Bear. So
How many days are we celebrating?
Yes, happy birthday, Sammy Bear.
Happy birthday, Sammy.
Saturday with we did a potluck out in the picnic area outside Disneyland. So off stream. Thank you very much. No,
Yeah.
We did. We all just kind of enjoyed some time there, and then ran through the parks Saturday night. And then I know Sammy was there yesterday. I saw them at the end, but her and CL and Christina had fun last night. So happy birthday, Sammy Bear.
We do have another question from Gain Life. Hey, Gain Life. Will they have those gingerbread houses by the 15th?
Oh, they have them right now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they were restocked. I saw it on Instagram. Disney
today?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I didn't see them at all when we were there on Saturday. So
that was just today I saw it posted.
Yeah, those are really, really popular this year. So I'm sure Disney wanted to get those back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Day Walker. Nice to see you.
And
No
Lauren
reservations.
Campbell, you say you have a question. Just go ahead and put it in the chat.
The gingerbread person cookies or right? Is that what
Yeah, the gingerbread person Mickey cookies.
Good to know. I've heard some mixed reviews on those. Some people love them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought Mrs. Casual loved those ones, but she actually likes the Mickey shape head.
Yeah, I like that
cookies,
one
the
better
big
too.
ones. She likes those ones better. Which this morning I'm getting ready for work, and I look out of the bedroom door, look at the landing in front of the stairs, and I see Mr. Peabody messing with something, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. And I went, wait a minute, he shouldn't be messing with anything right there on the stairs. That didn't look like one of his toys. Our cat Archie had grabbed the cookie that I bought Mrs. Casual on Saturday. He grabbed it off of the kitchen island, brought it upstairs, and the dog was getting into the cookie.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, Sammy does have a question. What do you prefer, Star Wars fireworks or the regular?
Ooh. Now, have you guys watched the fireworks with the Christmas music? I mean, with the fireworks, with the holiday fireworks?
Believe in holiday magic, so I cannot bring myself
You
to
know
go
what?
to Star
You
Wars.
need to do it. Nope, I'm telling you.
What?
You got to do it. I was like, I wasn't going to do it either because I'm like, oh no, I got to do it. I got to be on Main Street or somewhere.
I just love the Christmas music. It is a near perfect show for me. I don't know if I want to give up a potential viewing of that for it.
Good. It was good. They did. It went.
I can imagine, because like I said, I never believed that they could take the Star Wars music and just lay it over whatever fireworks might be happening, but they did fantastic, especially for the Pixar fireworks. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to watch the Pixar fireworks now. I'm going to go over to Star Wars every time.
And they changed it up a little too. So like there's the Life Day music at the end. Like it's not the same exact soundtrack.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I was just going to ask, is it the same soundtrack or is it different?
No,
yeah.
Lauren Campbell asked a question real quick. My question about both parks is, can they have more people visit Disneyland than they do for California Adventure? I believe Disneyland can hold more guests than California Adventure.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, Disneyland is like 70, 80,000?
80,000.
Which actually that was a while ago, so it might even be more with Galaxy's Edge now that they've opened up more space, but somewhere in the 80,000 range. And I think California Adventure is like 55, like 50 to 60,000, somewhere in there.
Yep. Yeah, and they have the reservation system, so they can fit more into Disneyland. Yeah, who knows? Sometimes it seems like, and by the way, when you have a park hopper, people are switching back and forth, so
right.
They sometimes have a ton of people over DCA too. So
yeah. Sammy Bear, yes, I miss Wondrous Journeys too. That one is a tremendous show.
That was awesome. Although I'm telling you, I cannot wait. I know this is a parade, but cannot wait for Paint the Night to come back, because that was one of my favorite parades besides Main Street Electrical Parade, for a night parade. That is, don't get me wrong, love the holiday parade. And I saw, I don't know if I brought it up to you guys. Maybe we talked about this on Wednesday last week, casual, but someone was saying in the chats and different social media platforms last week that they need to get rid of the Christmas Fantasy Parade. I was like, nope. I know it's repetitive. I know it, it's got a lot of the same scenes every year, but no, I love it. I do not want it to go away. So,
on which one was that?
The Christmas Fantasy Parade.
Yeah, it still works for me. I still like the parade.
Yep.
Debbie Bernfeld, welcome in.
Hey, Debbie. Well, I don't see any other questions right offhand. Shall we end?
Either, yeah, we are good. Well, Thank you all so very, very much for joining us tonight on another episode of the Park Streamers Hangout. Again, thank you to Cassie B, our special guest tonight. And thank you to my co-host. So before we leave, Theme Park Casual, let everyone know where they can find you, and again when you'll be streaming next.
All right. You can find me on YouTube, on X and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual. I will be in the parks at Disneyland this Wednesday evening, hoping for my Christmas fireworks.
All right.
Awesome.
And Mr. Barry Plays 28, where can everybody find you, and when will you be back in the parks or streaming?
Well, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook at Barry Plays 28. And if I can get a reservation for Thursday, I will be there. I actually have one for tomorrow, but I had not planned on streaming. So if I can't get my reservation for Thursday, who knows? Maybe there'll be a surprise tomorrow. But right now, I'm planning on trying to get a reservation for Thursday so I can stream then. So if not, hit that notification bell. You'll see when I go live, and you can join me then.
Perfect. And Cordy in California, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, actually Twitch. That's what I left off last time. And I'm on Blue Sky now. I have one post, but I'm gonna try. All right. Well, thank you all again. We will see you on the next one. Actually, we'll see you in the parks, and then we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, real quick, Brian Sippy asked, when is the Candlelight Procession? Candlelight Procession is this weekend. So this Saturday and Sunday, and we will find out who the narrator is probably Saturday, like around noon, 1 o'clock-ish is when they do their first rehearsal, and that's when everybody finally finds out who it is, and it spreads like wildfire on social media.
Although there's a rumor going around right now who it is. We'll see if it's true.
All rumors.
All righty. All right. Good night. Wait, let me look at my notes. What was it again? Do you want to just say it, TPC?
Good night, kids, dreamers, and jammers.
See you next time, everyone.
All right, see you guys. Don't forget to follow Cassie B.
And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed. Good night, everyone.
And share.
We hope you enjoyed our amazing show tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next Park Streamers Hangout. Have a good night, everyone.